At 6:11 p.m. on September 9, 2010, a 30-inch natural gas transmission pipeline owned and operated by PG&E ruptured beneath a residential neighborhood in San Bruno, California. The rupture unleashed tens of millions of cubic feet of natural gas, which ignited into a massive fire. The blast destroyed dozens of homes, killed 8 people, and sent shockwaves through the community and the utility industry. This was not just a disaster. It was a failure of infrastructure, oversight, and safety systems that had grown lax over decades. The pipeline segment that ruptured was part of Line 132, installed around 1956 and buried beneath the Crestmore residential neighborhood of San Bruno. At approximately 6:11 p.m., the pipeline burst, releasing about 47.6 million standard cubic feet of natural gas. The escaping gas ignited moments later, sending flames into the sky and triggering a fire that rapidly spread to nearby homes. The explosion's intensity was immense. It created a crater approximately 72 feet long by 26 feet wide at the rupture site. A section of pipe nearly 28 feet long, weighing around 3,000 pounds, was ejected more than 100 feet from where it had been buried. The fire that followed consumed the surrounding area, overwhelming initial efforts to control the blaze. In total, the fire destroyed 38 homes and damaged dozens more, forcing hundreds of residents to flee. 8 people lost their lives, and many others were injured. First responders from across the Bay Area converged on the scene, battling intense heat and dangerous conditions. Isolating the pipeline and stopping the flow of gas was a difficult, time-consuming process. It took over an hour to shut off the source of the fuel feeding the fire. In the days that followed, investigators from the NTSB and other agencies descended on the neighborhood. Their work uncovered troubling findings. The pipeline segment that failed contained a defective seam weld, a weakness that made it susceptible to rupture under stress. Furthermore, PG&E's records had incorrectly described that segment as seamless, masking its vulnerabilities. The NTSB's investigation showed that the probable cause of the rupture was a combination of inadequate quality assurance and quality control at the time of the pipeline's installation in the 1950s, and an ineffective pipeline integrity management program that failed to detect and address the defective pipe section over decades. These systemic failures allowed the flawed segment to remain in service long after its risks should have been recognized. The explosion and subsequent fire did more than destroy buildings. They shattered a community. Entire families were displaced, possessions were lost, and the emotional toll on survivors was profound. San Bruno residents faced not just physical reconstruction, but the long process of healing from trauma and loss. The NTSB's final report was unambiguous. Insufficient oversight, flawed records, and poor inspection practices were central contributors to the disaster. Regulators and industry experts seized on the findings, calling for stronger standards, improved monitoring, and better data management to prevent similar failures elsewhere in the country. The legal and financial repercussions for PG&E were significant. The utility faced numerous lawsuits and settlements, with hundreds of millions of dollars paid in claims to victims and families. In federal court, PG&E was later convicted on multiple felony counts, including violations of pipeline safety laws and obstruction of the federal investigation. The company also faced record fines from state regulators, reflecting the gravity of its negligence. In the years since the explosion, the Crestmore neighborhood has largely been rebuilt, but the legacy of that tragic evening remains. San Bruno's streets now carry new homes and fresh landscaping, yet the lessons of September 9, 2010 linger in public policy, safety debates, and community memory. The San Bruno pipeline explosion was more than an industrial accident. It was a failure of systems designed to protect the public, a failure of record-keeping, inspection, and accountability. As communities across the United States continue to rely on aging infrastructure, the story of San Bruno stands as a stark reminder that vigilance, transparency, and strict adherence to safety protocols are essential. The cost of neglect, both human and material, can be devastating and permanent. Thank you everybody for watching. I make new videos every week, so if you'd like to see more content like this, please consider subscribing to the channel. I'd appreciate the support.